Dipped in Nonsense podcast. We're so happy to have you with us on this beautiful daytime, nighttime, whenever, I don't know, we're out here. We got some very special guests this week, and we can't wait to introduce you to them. But first, we're gonna roll through quick introductions. So, we like to go around, give introductions. We have little AKAs we throw in there. Feel free to throw yours. If not, you can just say who you are. But starting with...
It's Kevin,
It's showtime.
your grandma, aka Atticus Warhol, aka Lab the Rat, aka Genghis Cup,
Yeah.
in the news house.
Yeah, in the news house. We got Sevy Sub, Cash Money Sub the Savage.
Ooh. You already know who it is. It's your boy Q. And oh man, it's our special guest this week. Please introduce yourselves.
Yo, it's Kayron. I don't have nothing cool to follow up with there. They killed that. But yeah, Kayron.
There we go.
Shit, man, it's G.Show,
Yeah.
aka Rated R.
Hey.
You already know what's up.
Rated R back.
Fan favorite back again. Man, so I know all this talk that's been going around, we're living in, it's 2023 now. We're officially in the future.
Made it to
Right.
the future.
Yeah.
Out here. And one of the buzzwords of this year has been artificial intelligence, AI. You heard about this? You seen this? You heard about this? You seen this?
Show have.
It's the talk of the town, and apparently we got someone who's been going deep into AI. It's funny, first person.
Fun with it.
It was my mom who was
Plug
like,
myself in real quick.
Right.
my mom was like,
Like AOL disc. You're
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
Hell no, I hate that sound.
the
The nightmares. I know the dial-up nightmares.
you know what that sound is.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Get
God.
off the
Sure
phone.
Mom, I'm trying to download naked pictures.
so Seth's been going on this AI journey.
It's-
First started with our mom was like, oh, you got to check out Chat GPT. It's really cool. I put in I had it write a cover letter for me. You got to check it out. And then
That's crazy. What
I
the
went in
fuck?
and put it in there, and man, it's really crazy. You got to fuck with it.
Yeah.
I need that cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Easy.
I thought people were just doing bullshit.
No, you can generate
real shit.
It's real stuff. And so I was playing with it. You can put in give me a 10-minute gluten-free cookie recipe, and
What?
it'll
10
spit out a
minutes?
full. Or you can say I don't know. It's crazy. You got to play with it. But what it made me realize is that we got to adapt to this AI game, because it's going to kind of change the efficiency of how we do things.
Dude.
And after you play with it too, you'll be that's the new tool we're going to have to adapt with. And so, Sev, what's this journey been like for you?
Yeah, so like what he said, our mom was first on it, and we are impressed with her. Dang, look at you leading the way.
What? She's
Introducing
telling
it to us. And then we had Kent on our, was it the last pod? Two pods before.
Ago.
Yeah, and he was talking about
Shout-outs. Happy birthday, Kentaro.
happy birthday. He was have you guys been on Midjourney yet? And I was like, Midjourney, I never heard of it. I was like, I don't know. But this past weekend I had some time, and I was like, you know what? Actually, what it was I saw this photographer make this post, and what he did was he's like, I've been working with this prompt for a while. This brand called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Jacquemus? It's a high-end
They make bags.
fashion brand.
They make bags too, right?
Yeah, they do bags for sure. I've seen
I
bags.
remember that.
Yeah.
my girl.
So yeah. It's a
the only
cool
reason I
brand. They
know.
have cool content and everything.
Yeah,
And so what he did was he made a prompt, and what he did was collab this brand with another brand. And Complex has posted a couple of images of someone. Because basically, I guess I should start with what Midjourney is.
Yeah.
So Midjourney is, and I'm not even an expert at it, but you use Discord, and there's a company called Midjourney. They created an artificial intelligence bot.
And Discord's like a chat board. You can message people, and there's different servers and stuff. So it's a tool on Discord.
Reddit, kind of.
Yeah, it's Reddit, an instant chat Reddit.
It got pretty big with NFTs and the whole, that's how they manage their communities and stuff. So anyways, you can install this AI bot into your server, or you can be on their server and test it out. And basically what you do is you pretty much give it a prompt. So you could say like someone, walking in the rain, a 30-year-old woman walking in the rain in New York, and then you add all these different tags to try and help the bot get as close to what you want achieved. And what it'll do is it'll just, in less than a minute, it'll create like images off of your prompts. So what I'm trying to figure out, or what I was trying to figure out, is like when I saw this photographer use this post, it's gotten pretty good where like it almost looks like real people. You can give it a prompt, and depending on the type of like descriptions that you're using, the AI can almost create like a real looking person. Wow. So people are getting really good at it. And I was like,
writing
holy
the
shit.
details, right?
Yeah, and the description pretty much, and then you feed it to the bot. But so I was playing with that because I was like, dang, could we figure out how to use this tool, and this can help us like, have models be in different locations, I'm probably
content.
spilling the beans right here.
Yeah, I'm like, shut up, don't tell them anymore. Cut it.
Okay, stop
The
it.
next idea, the next dip idea.
So
Steve Jobs, man.
yeah, so just been playing around with that, and as I've been exploring this stuff, what I'm realizing is that it could really affect, maybe graphic designers, or like it can have an impact in people's careers, like
Content creators.
I'm thinking specifically like graphic designers,
Right.
because you could have it create illustrations pretty easily. I think people is like the challenge. It's having like
The ideas is the
yeah,
challenge.
like sometimes people, their hands will come out all funky or something. Like it seems like the AI has like a little bit of a challenge, like completely getting down like a real looking human.
Because I think that's what, honestly, like Seb sent me this one prompt.
It was
And
so
every-
long.
It was so long, and whenever I put it in, it was like, damn. Well, because it's like a page.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Of just like all these different filters,
Details.
ultra cinematic, 8K,
Yeah.
like
Blue
wants
walls.
all these
50
kind of, like,
millimeter, all these cameras.
Unreal 5,
Yeah.
Unreal 5 engine, just like super specific. So when I throw hers in with like my like simple prompt, it like makes it like really intense. But it's also kind of like experimenting, because you gotta find like that path of like, oh, does this work?
Yeah.
It almost sounds like programming.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. So is there like limits to like kind of the words you have to use?
No,
It's
you can.
infinite.
Yeah, you can add as much like detail as you want, and then just see what it creates.
So it's like a creative exercise almost. So then you get better at defining what it is you want to see. So like that's the game she's trying to get better at, is like there are some people who are making waves in the space, and the only difference between them and most others is like their descriptions are so in detail that they're able to create these very specific types of art. So she's trying to figure out like, how do I get better at describing? And so like with a lot of the AI shit, it seems like your output is only as good as your input.
Right.
And so for the chat GPT thing too, like when you put in a prompt, like put in this cover letter, because I'm on a job hunt a little bit, but I put in, do this cover letter, and then it did one that was like 7 paragraphs, and I was like, make it 3 paragraphs, and then it condensed it down to 3 paragraphs.
Oh, wow.
And it did it really well. Like it'll be like what you would write if you were kind of like moving quickly, but it's like really well thought. Like it's like this
Gives
is
you a good starting point.
this
right?
is like I would have put in effort to write this, and it does it hella fast.
Right.
And
So-
I think it's so
that was my personal experience, but as I was doing it, I was kind of just like a little shocked at the idea that I never imagined AI being able to take away like creative jobs. I always thought
kinda
us
scary,
humans, we
too.
got this. I was like, they
Yeah.
can't do the arts. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, yeah, they can, give us information, but to
Yeah.
be able to create what like graphic designers do and photographers, I was just like, this is actually shocking. And then I started thinking about my, profession, which is video, and I was just like,
crazy.
at least the AI is not good enough to put video to compile, footage together and edit
Right.
something
With
and find
flavor.
music and do all this. But I was
To
like,
the Tesla bot.
I know,
Had the
right?
AI walking around with the camera.
So it makes you think they're even doing AI music too. And so there was like a
my
AI
gosh.
generated artist that came on the scene last year, and he went by the name of FN Meka. Actually, I have a soundbite. I don't know if you guys have heard about this
The
guy
Gucci
before.
Tesla truck.
Yeah,
the
so this is
Cybertruck.
so FN Meka. I'm gonna go off Wikipedia a little bit. FN Meka is a fictional rapper / avatar originally developed by Brandon Lay in 2019 as part of a company, Factory New. It was a self-described virtual rapper. The project had claimed that the music and lyrics were generated by an AI using thousands of data points compiled from video games and social media. So they had, and it got signed too, because it got signed to a major label. It got signed to, let me find out what.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, I thought that was
All these
crazy.
hardworking
Capitol
humans.
Records.
Oh, it was Capital.
They got
Capital.
So in August 14th, 2022, FN Meka got signed to Capitol Records for like, it was like a multi-million-dollar deal. And he doesn't exist.
like everybody else.
Yeah.
It doesn't clock out.
360 deal?
Yeah.
No, 360.
360. So this is a track. This is what an AI generated artist sounds like.
This is 6ix9ine. I forgot. A little
That-
bump.
I was
So-
thinking about
Yeah,
it too.
yeah,
I was
no,
like,
no, no, no,
I
like,
couldn't
little
think of the
bumps are
name. I
They like
forgot.
and put a prompt. They're like a mix of Takashi and
Michael
So-
Jackson, Tekashi, Cybertruck.
So
Yeah.
Gucci.
not only do they have this AI artist like saying the N-word in the lyrics, but they also, what really got him canceled was like one of the pictures on the IG post was like him getting beat by like a parole officer in jail.
What the fuck?
And he was like, this is like the picture that
That's
got him.
That's racist.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Jail.
that's crazy.
It was
Everyone
bad.
knows parole officers aren't in jail.
And so
This is not believable.
the caption was crazy too. It was like, my parole officer's at it again, but I'm like feeling sad. It was just a wild pick. And then of
Cortez.
course the people behind the company, I mean, a certain demographic, but
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that goes to show like what people think of it, like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of that culture.
Like, and it's like
What the fuck?
almost like a clown show in
Yeah.
a certain
Crazy.
sense,
Oh,
like
Crazy.
like green hair, like blue mustache. It's like my like little 10-year-old brother would create this character on Grand Theft Auto. Like, bro, literally, like,
it's bad.
I'm
But-
curious where they draw like the material from, like whose input.
right.
You know?
Oh, where are they getting the
Like,
data
like, what-
points?
Like with Midjourney, it's taking like I guess searches and kind of art and stuff like that. Like, where is that guy created from? You know?
Probably just like all the crazy trap stuff. So like there was the same conversation that Sev just brought up was going around when this FN Meka thing came out too, because
Right.
they were like, okay, if Capitol Records is signing a deal with this like not real artist, it's just like a digital artist, and all the lyrics and contents being made through AI, what does this do, or what does this mean for the artists who are creating it themselves? Or, you know, how much of a disruptor will this be
Right.
to like how the actual, you know, music industry operates? What do you guys think about it? Do you think that like AI music will, or AI art in general, let's talk specifically music, do you think there will be a point where AI music is like taking over artists and like, so yeah, this was like a trial failure because it didn't work out because it was executed poorly, but what if they
Right.
execute something tight? Do you feel that is a risk of it?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, I look at music like separated into like authentic, genuine, like art form, and then like the business side, money grab of music. And for the business side, money grab side of music, that is what it is. Like, like that wasn't formulated from nothing. And I think like us as consumers and as people who participate within that culture own some of that responsibility of them looking at all these data points and saying, oh, this is what they want. Somebody getting beat by the police, flashing jewelry with a Gucci Cybertruck, rapping about guns, doing like it's just like the craziest thing you can think of. Like
The kids will love it.
right, right, exactly. But it's like we kind of have to like look at why would they think that was successful?
Yeah.
They wouldn't think that was successful in another genre.
Like pop and shit.
Right. So we have to look at that, and we have to look at some of the artists today. And you know, in hip hop, it's always a like thing where people say, "Oh, you know, like live what you rap," or I really do this, I'm really about this. And it's like you really not for the most part. Like we think of most artists, it's like you really not, but they all try to fit that formula. They was just like, well, if this is a formula, why not use AI? Who's better at formulas than AI?
Really.
Like, so
Really.
I get it, but that music doesn't last.
Yeah.
And so that formula won't last.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so saturated music,
right.
and then that's one of the reasons why they feel like, oh yeah, we could create something to mimic that.
Yeah.
You can't. I know for me, especially with hip hop, I got into it because you hear the pain. Ain't no artificial robot could actually depict
Right.
That's
a
true.
pain
Yeah.
of like the storytellers of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I said, about how it's saturated now, a lot of people feel like they can do it. So they're like, oh, we can make a fucking
It's the
artificial.
low hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say like, so what I think AI is doing is taking the most trending, most trafficked topics
yeah, exactly.
Right.
and compiling them. But as you're saying, it lacks soul.
Yeah.
It lacks depth.
Right.
It lacks humanity.
Yep.
Right.
And
Can't copy that.
that's the reason why like you're just like, this is detestable.
Yes.
Like,
So-
why would I want to do that?
It's interesting because like the market reacts by throwing so much money at it though, you know, like even for like a lot of the
Yeah.
low hanging fruit artists, like, but I guess is longevity the thing, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if it's just a quick money grab, and like what I was gonna say, like was basically what we're talking about is you look at any influencer or whatever they're called now, and what they do is they sell a t-shirt or they make a rap song, and that's how they could monetize their popularity. It's not about the music, it's not about the shirt, it's about how can I just get these people supporting me to give me their money. And I think like music is a way to do that, and I think rap, since it is uber creative to where the boundaries don't really, right? So if I'm going to make a singing song, I have to be able to sing a little bit, or niggas like, what the fuck is like?
So people-
They're not gonna listen
Do
to
a
it.
vocalize.
But when you can rap, and if you like, oh, this is a rap song, and you singing, your singing can be terrible, as long as the melody is good.
Yeah.
You know, as long as the beat is good, as long as you like the BPMs is right. And I feel like it's just like, oh yeah, we could just do this. So I think they're looking at it like, well, I don't want to throw any names, but this person did it and that person did it. So, and they're not adding anything new.
Yeah.
So why not just use this robot?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Just use
Again,
the
like
fucking robot.
that's from Capitol
Yeah,
Capitol Records
Yeah.
tower at the top
Which
of
is
the
crazy.
at the top
Like
of the
they-
thing, looking down over Hollywood, right? That's what I envision. Like, I picture like a villain, like looking over. It's like, yeah. That's what I envision. But it's like, why would I have to pay another person? I could just do this.
Which is crazy.
But again, they know it's not true.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like is a slap in the face.
But
Yeah.
Capitol Records,
To
they
the
were like,
art.
yeah, let's just
disrespectful.
that's what I feel like
It's
it's so
like-
disrespectful for them to even sign somebody.
it
shows how they
something
value
like that.
hip hop.
But like, I feel like all industries are headed that way. You know, like,
Right.
have you seen the like robot that like fries?
They want to be
That's
first.
disrespectful.
Right.
Chefs.
Yeah,
Right,
You know, so,
right,
like,
right.
I think we're kind of on the precipice of like us dealing with this bullshit Skynet shit. You know,
Right.
Like, where it's like, oh, let's try an AI rapper. Let's try an AI
Testing it
artist.
out.
Let's try AI like
Sandwich maker
Yeah, it's just
thing.
like they're like we have the technology, you know, and
Right.
then like maybe we should do this, but no one asks, should we do this? You know,
Right.
right?
They do ask, but it's more of just like
It just
it's the money grab. Like you
we'll
were
throw the
saying.
money
Yeah.
at it. If it doesn't
Yeah.
work, so be it.
Because it's
But-
like when you think about business, right? It's everything we're talking about right now don't apply. Is it gonna make
investment return?
Exactly. And so it's like, oh, okay, you're telling me that I could, to go more on your example, to leave the crazy rapper thing alone, I could open this McDonald's and not hire no employees.
They just did that
It
recently.
ain't good food.
Yeah, in
Like,
Texas.
all we gotta do is just make it hot.
Yeah.
Like,
Can I get a cracked
microwave.
egg instead of a rectangle egg? Like, you know,
we don't have that capacity.
I'm sorry.
That's not
Everyone gets
you.
filet of fishes. This is Japan. Like, you know,
Yeah.
only fish food. You know, it's like that kind of thing. But like, put it this way: it's like kind of. Have you guys ever seen? This is a tangent. Have you ever seen the second Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Right? Have you seen the part where like they bring in the bot that like turns the toothpaste cap, right? And gets his like dad out of a job. That's kind of what it is, because when you have like automation at like, you know, your grocery store or just a kiosk that you have at McDonald's, instead of paying like all those people at the register, you pay one guy to like come in and do the
Service the robot.
Yeah, so you pay one person instead of 4 people, right? And then as a business owner, fucking hell, it's
Looks good. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
but
At least on surface. Right?
Yeah, you're
Because
true.
Because the thing about AI, at least for now, as far as I my limited knowledge of it, is that it works within the realm of rules,
Yes.
and we don't.
yeah.
So we all, I don't know. Let me not speak for y'all. A lot of people have gone through self-checkouts and maybe not scanned something, right? And I know they take that as just like collateral.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Just the 10 cents bags for me. 10 cents bag for me.
But like I know they can like write that off as like the cost of doing business, right?
It's
Like
some type of deduction.
right, but it's, and people still anyway with
They'll
humans
figure out
there,
a way. Yeah.
with humans there. But it's just like once you get to the point to where it's no humans and people aren't having like let's say it's in a environment where people don't have the money and they feel like I don't need to spend the money, then they might not spend it. And I think that, I mean, that's a very like surface level, and I think that's very scalable to like just how people are. To, like we can change our minds like tomorrow. Right now, I could just decide to do some wild shit. I could just jump over the window. AI doesn't operate like that. So it's like the human element is always going to be at the detriment of like the companies trying to capitalize.
The wild card.
Yeah, the wild card, right?
The AI.
That's like iRobot. That's what that was
That's
all
what
about.
I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah. The AI getting us out the picture.
Yeah.
They're like, man, they're crazy.
Yeah, we can't
We're just
control
like
it.
wilding out, doing crazy shit all the time. That's interesting, you know? And you know what? All I got to say is, last point, and then we're going to go on and talk about our guests.
I was going to say, I think that AI can definitely like, never mind, I won't say it.
Say it,
I was just going to say like maybe, because like I can imagine you put in like prompts for like a type of beat that you want, and AI could make a beat. Right?
Yeah.
Hot ass beat clap.
But I don't think it can do. It can't, be an artist. Well, but it can make beats. That's all. Continue.
So here's where I think the current humans can weaponize the AI. Like with Midjourney, you can have them produce that art, and then you can take that art and paint it yourself in real life on like a canvas. My example for musicians, this bot is taking the highest traffic Google search topics.
BS.
You can rap about those things. You're hitting all those points, right? You're talking
Elon
about
Musk, Ukraine.
Yeah,
Just
talking
like-
about Cybertrucks,
Elon Musk, Ukraine, going insane.
walking with some rainbow hair, like you hit all those topics, and you weaponize it for yourself to be like the number one traffic thing,
Right.
And it's like I think it's just about taking the AI and applying the human filter.
Yeah.
Right.
So that way you can kind of like,
Well, I mean,
Just needs direction.
because
Yeah.
like what you were talking about with like your mom using the cover letter, right? She's
That's
like, oh,
wild.
okay,
That's
I'm gonna have to
wild.
write a cover letter for me, and then I'm gonna write
Tweak
it up
the little
and tweak
things.
it a bit.
Add the
It
flavor.
does like 90% of your work.
Yeah,
but
that's
you
what
add
I'm
that
saying.
little pizzazz.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh no, essence.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean
essence.
that's the case like with everything, right? Like from analog, going to analog, and then from analog to digital, we have more assistance. You know what I mean? But it's always the innovation of like humans is always gonna like, I feel, reel through and pull through. And it's also like, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you're doing it well. And it's like the AI could do it
At a 7,
but it's not gonna,
six or
it doesn't
seven.
mean that it's gonna be as good as whatever, whether we're talking about cooking, rapping, singing, whatever.
It kind of has like most of the like 80% of the recipe.
Right.
So that last 20% is like, you know, a little dash of pizzazz.
But a lot of us as humans exist in that realm.
True.
So for those people, it's fucked. It's messed up.
Yeah.
But for like the people who are artisans or like artists at like just care about what they're doing, then I think that like they.
I think
I never
AI
know about-
will be best used just for work, like to improve workflow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think, but to actually do the work, I don't think so. But if we could use it to improve workflow, like organize it,
That's what I'm
make
saying.
like you were saying with the beats, you could use it maybe as as like the starting point of the beat, like maybe just a bass line or something, like just or just how to just to organize the beat. You know what I mean? So the AI, if we could use it more for like the workflow, improve, make it faster for us to work and create and be an artist, I think that's where we should actually lean towards instead of more of like the artistry.
People are having it build like entire websites for them. Like you can say like build the HTML code for this, and then people are having it spit out all the HTML code. But all I know is I don't trust these damn robots, and I never will. I ain't fucking with them. We gotta talk about our guest, man. You know, we spent all this time talking about this technology, this future talk. You know, enough of that future talk. Let's talk about
Talk
this.
about the now.
Talk about the humans.
people
They're already
talk.
stealing our shine.
Yeah.
Enough of these computers. What about these humans that are sitting?
Right.
So, I mean, what's up with y'all? Who are you guys? What are you guys interests? What do you guys like? I know you entrepreneurs,
Who are these?
music,
Artists.
out here hustling. What do you guys like to do?
Shit, all of that. To be honest, I think at this age now, like, which is beautiful, you could do it all.
Yeah.
You know, there's no real boundary to be an artist, and everything is an art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything is an art. So the way you do some art, you could do it. You could do it all. You know what I mean? Just falling in love with music. You know what I mean? Before that, it was basketball. You know what I mean? Like people, what's his name? Kyrie Irving always talks about basketball as like he's an artist on the court.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. So you could do so many things in your life, you know, if you have the artistic mind or you take it as an art. You know what I mean? So
True.
that I code. I code. I code a lot as well because it's like you could really just create anything, you know, if you just think about it.
Yeah.
Code, I do music, work out, like, man, it's endless. It's endless. just blessed to be able to do a whole bunch of things creatively.
I have
You know
that
what I mean?
flexibility.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and improves in everything you do. You know, because sometimes if you're just stuck on, like I know for a fact, like for me, when I'm just only like doing music, like you don't get the best content out. You kind of have to like jump to different things for me, which is crazy if you think about it, because some people are like, oh, just focus and sit there. But if you just like maybe step away from, you know, that moment, because you might have writer's block. You know?
Right.
You step away a little bit, you know, you go do something else, and then you come back to it, you just find
Fresh.
you open up new new stuff in your head. You know what I
Because
mean?
music's not in a vacuum either, right? Like you rapping about what you're doing in real
Exactly.
life.
You got to go out and go experience,
right.
travel, do shit. You know what I mean? And then you write about it.
I always think about like.
Sorry.
Damn, my bad. I always think about like Kendrick. What was that? OD when he was like rapper. Yeah, overly dedicated when he was like. Something about rappers rapping about rap. It's like you can only do that so much. Like I rap better than you. Look at these metaphors I'm saying for no reason.
Miracle.
Like, I get bread like Subway. All right, cool, bro.
I get bread like Subway. Such a
That's
boy.
true.
Yeah, like
There's only so many ways you can like say the same
right,
stuff.
or not say nothing. There's only so many ways you can not say nothing.
Right.
And it's like so. It's like
Just
if
like
you're just
Subway
in the
filler.
studio. Like that's why one of my influences of why I started rapping like Eminem, I see his decline from who he was to who he is now.
First two,
And then I hear the stories about all he does is go to the studio and just rap all day. And it's like, you just rapping about rapping.
Yeah,
Like,
You're not living like,
right.
Like, you know,
Like if it's a
I'm a rap god. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, can you pick up your kid?
4 in the morning.
right. Like what did you have for
Subliminal
breakfast?
miracles.
I'm scoring it in the morning and morning in the morning.
I need a napkin.
I get what you're saying. Like, it's like Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady, LP, just like amazing stuff.
Amazing, bro.
But like,
Crazy.
you gotta remember that guy was like,
He was
you know,
going ham.
on some meds. Like,
Yeah.
right? And it was ultimately the best things about him.
But he was also going
But
through
he-
some shit.
And he had
But-
stuff that he
Yeah.
wanted to talk about.
yeah,
But
he
like-
had some shit.
But like, what is it like the Slim Shady LP2 or whatever he just released? Like, you know, your beard is weird, dude.
Well, and I think your beard is weird.
Let's
Let's not hate
That's
on
gonna be in his next.
beard.
That's gonna be in his next song.
Yeah.
He's gonna diss you, Kevin.
song.
My beard's weird. He's gonna
Writing credit, Kevin.
here, mirror.
I just get like
Steer here.
slid his head. Like, you know, like. All right, you wrote a diss track about me. Like,
I think
who am I?
a lot of it too. He went through his phase of. I don't want to stick too much on just sticking on Eminem, but like, you know, he did a lot of like vocal inflections, and he had like he experimented with the music, like with the first two albums, and then he went through his phase where he was like, and then I'm not like this, and I gotta rap like, and then he just did his fake yell, and then now he's just like his yabba dabba do like crazy.
Yabba dabba do.
All right, Fled. All right, Fred. Go back to the Stone Age.
I don't know what he's
You know
on.
who else is like that? Is like Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah,
Like, have you ever listened to anything after like Lasers?
I don't know.
Lupe.
Like, you know,
Yeah, no, Lasers was probably
it's hard.
his last thing was
It's
good.
hard.
This is
you're
great.
Too good.
This
You
is
know?
great. This is exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
Literally exactly what you left off at. I look at Lupe as different than Eminem because I look at Lupe as you're too far gone. You're rapping too good, bro. Like
dots,
I don't.
dots. I was like, damn, man, you talking about like sign
And it's not. I'm saying too good. Like it's just. I respect it and I accept it and I appreciate it, and that's his art, and that's where he wanted to go with it. Right? He was commercially successful, one of the most commercially successful for 2 albums, right? And then he went like, he had his Obama drama and all the other stuff that got him canceled, right?
Yeah.
And then, but like when he raps, it's sometimes too much to digest.
too technical.
Too technical.
Yeah.
I say too good, right? Because as a rapper myself, that's what I look at as like when I look at Lupe, like that's like Kobe.
Yeah.
Or that's like Messi, or that's like you get what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you're just that good at this.
Top of the game.
But the thing is that with sports, because as being a former athlete myself, it's like that's easy because the results is win or lose.
Yeah.
It's I made it or I missed it. With art, what's
Sky's the limit.
right? Like
It's
it's
objective.
right, and then it's like what's success? And then it's like you start going down all these things. It's like, do I even care to be successful with this art in the sense of commercially, or in the sense of people get it, or in the sense of I appreciate, like, what are we going for when we do this? Yeah. So it's like, it's hard for me to judge it other than just you're really fucking good.
Yeah, like, you can respect it for what it is.
But I can't listen to it consistently.
You know what I think it is? It's like, after you make that bag and no one can tell you what to do, you're like, I'm just trying to push this art as far as I can with topics, with multi-syllabic like rhythm structures and things like that, because that's what Eminem does. Right. And he's just doing it at that time for himself. Anyone who listens, sure, they can come in. But in a way, it's a little tone deaf. Right. Because it's like, yo, people don't want to hear this. You know what was a perfect example of that? Like in Chance's like 4th album. Yeah. Right? After Chance 3, I'm like, I don't want to hear about your wife, dude. Yeah. Like, you know, like my wife. I had such high hopes for that guy. He was headlining every different festival, you know? You know, like
literally.
They killed him. They killed him. Dude, it was ridiculous. And like his comeback is just so hard. But like, I was like, yo, bro, like, no one wants to hear about you happy and married. Yo, go back to acid rap. Go back to do that.
That's tough because it's like, what is like the artist want to do for themselves versus very like true. It's like when you have that much success, you're in an interesting position because
like, do I follow my creative or the market? One thing I wanted to ask was like, when you guys are writing songs, I guess, what is your kind of approach? Are you looking at it from like I want to come on and be technical, or is it kind of like dependent on the beat? Are you just feeling it? And like kind of what, I guess when you go to write, like what is your like desired output for yourself? Like, are you thinking like, all right, I'm gonna hit him with these, like, you know, are you like, you know, I guess
what's that process? Like?
Yeah. How's that?
You want to go first?
I know for me, I've reached different stages of like my art form. You know what I mean? I think at first, you fall in love with the technical aspect of it. I know for me now, I'm trying to find it in the middle. I want to be a little bit sonically sounding as well. Only because it's a challenge. You know, like we always, you see Kendrick and old Ab Soul. Ab Soul was very technical. Kendrick was technical, but he could also make a good song that's sonically pleasing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's approachable.
And some people might say that's a sellout, that's a cop out or whatnot. But in a way, it's still a skill.
It's super skill.
It's still a skill. And some people are like, oh, that's easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. You could, you know, make some great lyrics, but it's still a song. Like like yo. Like people could feel it, you know. There's some going back to Lupe, you know what I mean. He don't care about the song, like if it's sonically pleasing, you know what I mean. He's gonna hit you with the bars and everything, but is it musically pleasing?
I mean, I think he does care, but I'm gonna answer your question. For me, it's hard. It depends on. So I go off the beat, and then if it's a feature, I go off the feature. So and it just depends on the mood that I'm in. Like if I'm in a lyrical miracle mood, you finna get some
swimming pool,
right? Literally, you finna get a miracle whip. Like
Royce the 5'9" comes in like, woo!
Yeah, exactly. All of that type stuff. You might get that if I'm in a. So that's always gonna be there, just because that's why I like fell in love with the art of rapping. You know what I mean? It's like if I do a metaphor to sports, it's like, I might make this layup, right? That might have been that drive, but I fell in love with basketball, like similar to like Kyrie. Like I like the artistry of it. I love the footwork. I love like the ball handling. Like I love like the creating aspect of it. It wasn't just for me to score. Like when I think of just like I think of like an industrial player like Kawhi Leonard. Like I'm gonna take this one dribble and shoot. I'm gonna like do this spin and shoot. Like,
something basic.
2 dribbles, lay up. Like I'm just playing basketball.
Yeah.
Fine. that's not why I played basketball. Like I was more artistic, creative.
The flow of it.
Right. So that's always gonna be an imprint in my music. But I think for the most part, I go off the vibe of the beat and what I'm trying to get across. And it's, you know, as an artist, those things shift. Like, I mean, like we're all artistic in our ways, right?
Everyone here.
And and it just depends on like what you want to do with it and what you look and how you look at how to accomplish that. And as far as like what is success and like what are our goals, like when I hear a song and I think what are my goals with this song, it might be a situation where it might be like, oh, I want this to like be cool, so I might think of more of the flow. Like I might go
some
like
swaggy stuff,
something like where it's just like a constant like 1 2 1 2, like it's just easy to follow, it's just easy on the ear. Or I know a lot of people do like the Kendrick kind of stuff too. So like those are like my two go-tos. Oh, this is good. So if I just want to make something that you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't care, you just listen.
Sonically it sounds.
You just he's a good rapper. I'm either gonna go lyrical miracle like syllables, or I'm gonna go like Dom Kennedy-ish, like Yellow Album, like that kind of vibe. And
I fuck with Larry.
He don't like Larry. No. Let's not say that.
Welcome to 106 in Park.
I met Larry June.
Welcome to the basement.
And Paris Fashion Week last year. He's a really cool dude. He actually introduced himself to me.
Cool.
So he was cool. So after that, I was like, you know, I'm from LA, so I'm Dom Kennedy. Like, you know what I mean? Like he embodies it.
Yeah.
So it was like, you kind of like doing the Dom Kennedy thing.
He is.
But I see his vibe and I see his own thing that he's going with, and he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So I said I never say nothing negative about it. But that's not like my lane of rap.
I got you.
I would say Dom Kennedy is the cutoff, and then once you go to like Larry, because Larry June be like off beat.
Well, you gotta listen to
sometimes.
I like his last album.
One at a time.
Go back and listen to some Mac Dre, and I was like, because it's super big. Like what I love about Larry is he's shouting out like these like cities you would only know if you like live there. He's shouting out like specific neighborhoods and streets. He's saying Balingo that's super like only people from there would be saying.
That's like territorial rap.
I love it.
It's good because
That's good though. That's
but if you run back some Mac Dre, he sounds exactly like Mac Dre. Like some of the other stuff that Mac Dre's saying, if you like run back, because I was re-listening through Mac Dre's albums and I was like, damn, all right, Larry is like pulling up hella from him. But you know,
but that goes to like, that's like, I don't knock that because we all pull. Like I said, like I definitely pull. Like when I think of artists I pull from, I 100% started rapping because of Eminem syllables. So that's gonna be there. Like that's why I started rapping. And I'm like never gonna be ashamed to say that, regardless of if people are, you know, he goes through the phase where people, Eminem's the GOAT, and now, he sucks. Whatever. Like your favorite rapper today, Kendrick, J. Cole,
everybody,
Joey Badass, whoever you talking about.
Action
I
Bronson.
think Eminem talked as well.
Copied Eminem.
Yeah.
So let's just say that.
Because I mean, he's been around there for.
But then I get that from like Eminem, and then I get like I pull like my. I would say like the cleverness more so from like Jay-Z and the brilliance and simplicity. We were talking about food earlier, right? So I was the kid when I was a little kid. I used to run down the shoulder shit and like get Sprite, Coke, lemonade. I'm like, if I like Coke and I like Sprite and I like lemonade, if I put them all together, it's gonna be the shit.
Oh my God! As a kid, it would be fun.
Or like you go to Blaze Pizza and you're like, I want all of it. Like put everything on there. And then it was like growth, honestly. honestly, for me, as a person and as an artist, was like, damn, I get the
I'm wild enough.
I get the brilliance of pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
Like all I needed was cheese and pepperoni. Sometimes I want a little spice, throw some jalapenos on there.
Yeah.
Like I got the brilliance of that, and I get that in music too. I think of like Jay-Z as being like the quintessential that, to where he can do like a multi like. What do they call them these days?
Like multisyllabic,
not syllable, but like
triple entendre.
Oh,
It'd be a triple entendre with like 4 words.
This, plain or that.
Yeah, like I always think. Go ahead.
The what is the one on the DJ Khaled album? Everyone was like, yo, he just dropped 4 minutes of bars.
Yeah.
He was like talking about triple entendres, about like a state this, it could be a state that, and just I was like, I'm lost.
Yeah. That we can go into that actually.
Okay.
But what I think back more to like closer to prime Jay-Z, to like Diamonds on Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
When he was like
Black albums.
What'd he say? The pressure's on, but guess who ain't gonna crack? Part of me, I had to laugh at that. And it's like, you had to be a fan of his work to know, like, he sold crack.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going back. You have to like be from that world to kind of understand like what he means when he says that. And then, the pressure's on, guess who's going to, I'm not going to crack under pressure. And then the song is about diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's layered.
Damn, it's layered. But all you said, the pressure's on, guess who ain't going to crack? But then you let us know that I meant that. Part of me, I had to laugh at that.
Yeah.
You let us know that you meant everything that I'm interpreting by saying that. And it's like, damn, that was brilliant.
One of my other favorite Jay-Z.
What's up?
Continue. Double entendres.
What?
Picked up on those like later. I don't know why I didn't hit me. But he said, either she the one or I'm caught in the matrix. Fuck it, let the fish burn. Red or green pill. You live and you learn. Come on. Fuck it, let the fish burn. Like Lawrence Fishburne. Red or green pill.
On a club song.
Like, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy.
The one thing I learned about Jay-Z is like, you could go back to like maybe like 94 and watch him on MTV Raps. He has a different style.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very fast. Very, very punchy. All that stuff. And I think he was the first one to like really step back, and kind of like be audible, because you go so fast that people don't understand what you're saying. And I think he kind of like took that from jazz. It's not the notes that you play, it's the notes that you don't play.
Right.
And in a sense, like, when you talk about like pepperoni pizza and just being simplistic, like he has made his lane.
Right.
Everything he touches, whether it's like 444, with like, the story of OJ or the Blueprint, or like, what I really love, but you can't really find it anywhere. Have you ever listened to the Gray album?
No, but
I've heard it.
Where it's Danger Mouse and it's like
the
Beatles' White album and like Jay-Z's Black album mashed together. That is my favorite.
You got that Linkin Park Jay-Z?
Yo, that's where he had that devil. Jay-Z sued him, I think,
it was like no one ever had done that before. Like, or if you go back and you watch, like, have you seen the one where Timberland shows him like the dirt off the shoulders beat?
Yeah.
And he's like,
no, he's like,
he's like,
that's a meme. Yeah, that's a crazy meme.
360 around his head, like, what was that? I got play that back, like, Timberland's like, you ain't ready for that.
I got a good question. What so it's one thing to like listen to like a genre of music, whatever it may be. It's one thing to be a fan or to appreciate it. What about making like rap or hip hop has actually drawn you to do it? Because I feel like for me, I'm a hip hop rap connoisseur. I love it. I truly love it. And I kind of get the feeling like, I want to write sometimes or do some stuff, but I still haven't had that draw to where like, all right, I'm out here, like I'm going to do it. So like, what kind of pulls you guys to be like, I'm going to make this music. I want to, like, is there something there that like, is like, I love it so much to the point where I'm going to like do it myself, right? You know, or what does that pull to you? To that,
I'm gonna go first because I feel like Ralph's answer might be more interesting. Honestly, my brother was a rapper. My dad actually was a rapper.
Oh,
So-
shit,
And I didn't know that till like later. But like
That's
he
cool.
was like a public enemy, fight the power. That's his personality.
That's
Remember that? He was that kind of rapper. My brother was I don't know what's going on over there. My brother was literally like a really good rapper. Like I don't know how else before his time. Like as far as cadence, syllables, content, like today he was, well, I mean, I guess rap kind of changed, but he's in that like J. Cole, Kendrick, Joey Badass, Ab-Soul, like lyrical miracle.
But it's fresh, like
Yeah, like, but like, you know, it's more about like the streets and stuff. But as far as like the technical ability, like he would fit perfectly in Griselda type thing. Like, so it was just like, I never actually cared to be a rapper. Basketball was my thing. I'm the only person in my family that like was playing basketball, like besides my cousin. But like as far as my dad and my brother and stuff, like they were more into, my dad was like a child actor.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And my brother was like, he wanted to rap. That was his, like what he wanted to do since forever. For me, it was just like, I listened to Eminem and like, I just knew it was possible to rap because I would just be rapping everyone's songs.
Yeah.
Like I was just always good at remembering other people's songs. And then so I like, it was Slim Shady LP actually. And like I just used to think like, wow, how could he like
It's
come up with
crazy.
this?
Yeah, it's
like where can you find this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm like 11
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Mind blown.
listening to all this old stuff. Like how? And I just decided to try it. And I would literally take a Eminem cadence, flow, structure, and just put my words in it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, so if he said something, I would just say,
the word.
I would take exactly how he said it, but just put my words in it. And it wouldn't fit. I'd be saying some BS. I'd be saying,
The flow sounded
yeah,
tight.
the flow sounded good. And then I went from there, and then like I said, like I went to like, became more of a fan of Jay-Z. Then like I would say Lupe, and then I would say like, I wouldn't say so much more influenced me, but I resonate with like, and it could just be being from LA, but like
Proximity.
Kendrick, I feel like we like have the, as far as rapping, he's a better song maker than me. But as far as rapping, like I feel like we come from the same space, maybe have the same influences. And then so when I see him, I see something familiar. When I see Nipsey, I see something familiar. And when I see Schoolboy, I see something familiar. So those are like the three people where I look at it as like, I get what you're doing. When
Really
you're
feel
doing
it.
it. All the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from. So those are like three of my favorite artists. But
Nice.
yeah, so that's like why I started rapping and how to answer your last question, how I got to here.
Gotcha.
So,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What's the draw?
We-
How about you, brother
Well,
Rob?
we kind of touched on it, like how rap is just it's just different from other genres. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to like pop and R&B, they really focus on the singing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The technical aspect of actually singing,
Like notes and
like notes and stuff like that. For me, you know, I fell in love with hip hop more about like the pain. Like that's what I said before. It was more like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, damn, people actually go through this shit, and you could actually create it as an art.
What
So-
made you go from like consuming it to participating in it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. So just the same way you listening to Eminem, I started the same way with Eminem, because Eminem, the way he was writing was just so damn interesting. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Different
like,
voices.
He didn't care. He didn't try to reach a certain kind of people. He told his story, and I feel like it just opens the door to anybody to, wait, I'm gonna tell my story too. And that's how it is. It was almost a form of therapy.
Yeah.
Because it kind of, that's how it seemed like he was doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I started the same way, enjoying Eminem. You know what I mean? And then like, in terms of like song structure, I love listening to 50 Cent.
Yeah.
In terms of like a song.
Yeah. He was killing it. I was in 5th grade. I was like, damn.
I had that
50 and Lloyd Banks was your dude.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think 50 was like, he was so good at creating hooks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And strong and song structures. So it was like, it was pretty cool seeing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, like creating like a song, and then you have, obviously, so I start off enjoying Eminem because of the content he was writing. And then I started enjoying 50 Cent because of the structure of songs he was creating. You know what I mean? And then also going into just studying, I just fell in love with like studying the game, researching more, like, oh shit. Yeah. And then you start like falling in love with the battle between Jay-Z and Nas. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you start listening to both of them, like, which one is better? At first, I used to like Nas a little bit better. I used to be like, Nas is better. Yeah, dude. And then after a while, you're like,
that's a maturity point.
And then he switched back to Jay-Z.
I felt like a maturity point was like, you know what? Jay-Z
is better.
Y'all Rockefeller.
Because you start really listening and you're like, wow.
Because Nas had that flow. Nas had that like...
He came hard.
Yeah, like he was like silky smooth.
Yeah.
Like he was like his cadence was better. Like he had the more lyrical miracle, like as far as like the syllables and the flow.
The energy. But then you hear Jay's, you're like, ooh.
Jay was just saying stuff that was just like
cold.
Wow.
You're like,
ouch. But again, he could also could also make a song, Jay-Z. Yeah. So me listening to 50 Cent, his shit sometimes was nursery rhyme, but the structure was good. It was like, wow, it was great. It was great. And then I started graduating, listening to Nas. Like, the structure is pretty cool too. Lyrics is cool, but then he kind of plateaued a little bit. You start seeing why. I started researching, like, why did he plateau? Is it the content? Is it like, I think some artists stick to their guns and would not grow. Yeah. So I started listening to Jay-Z. Yeah. He's willing to grow. He's willing to grow and try different avenues. It's so great. So you're like, wow, you know what I mean? And he's improving. He's a man. He's improving on it. I remember one song.
He's the best he's ever been.
I remember one song. Awesome. I forgot the song it was, but he was like, if you want to listen to the old Jay-Z, you want to listen to buy my old albums. Yeah. And it just means so much because people are like, man, I miss the old this, that. But he's like, yo, I'm trying new shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm working on different stuff, and I'm like, just like that meme, like wow, this nigga is crazy. This move I had, like, you know what I mean? So just seeing that, I think for me, I fell in love with just doing a lot of the research and understanding it. After at first it used to be therapy, and now I just want to like fall in love with the artistry of it and seeing how does this dude do that? And then I start implementing little pieces of it, and then going into Kendrick as well, you know what I mean? He pushes that to a different limit. He has the different like voices, you know what I mean? Like Jay, the rhyme schemes, like. One of my favorite Jay-Z albums is American Gangster. Yeah. Because it's actually my favorite. Just because it's a content album. It's like concept album, my bad. Concept album. You know what I mean? And I think Kendrick kind of does that almost in every album now.
Everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he took that concept idea and just kept doing it. And then after a while you just see like, wow, this whole shit is a big metaphor. Yeah. This whole album is
really well thought out too.
You know what I mean? So it's just beautiful with hip hop to see. I was having this argument an argument. I was talking to
Discussion.
because you know she introduced me to Afro beats. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, Afro beats, they talk about only love and partying all the time, which is great. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I was telling her because she was like, I can't listen to American music no more. You know what I mean? It's shit whack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get why she's saying that though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that make bad American
the
music.
general surface level of like.
But there's a lot of people that
Hence
still
the
make
AI
good
robot.
Yeah, that's like Meka.
Going back to that.
Siri,
So-
play AI rapper 369. Thank you.
So I get that. But I was trying to tell her, like, you know, I listen to a lot of the conscious rap of American music. You know what I mean? Like you could listen to Afro beats, love, partying all the time. That's cool. But American music still has more variety of content. You know what I mean? You have the J. Cole, you have the
comes from American music.
It does too. It came from especially like, you know, the 808 beats and instruments
type,
and stuff like that. So that's why it's more pleasing to listen to, because
Easy
it kind of
listening.
graduated to
Like
from
to
there.
kind of get out of the kind of like thought process and stuff like that. But like, have you guys listened to Cheat Codes by Black Thought and Danger Mouse?
No.
Right? Wow. I'll put you on.
Black
Well,
Thought,
I mean,
Black Thought is underrated. Is one of the best rappers to ever grace a microphone.
Yeah, so like doubling down on my like love for Danger Mouse, because like one of my first purchases as a high schooler was Danger Doom with MF Doom and Danger Mouse. You had like Tyler
MF Doom's another one of the greatest rappers ever.
He's one of my top fives. Like he just like he goes ham. But like the latest album of Black Thought and like Danger Mouse, the beats are insane. Black Thought just goes in. He starts off with like, you know, he's like prisoners of Azkaban coming up with a master plan. And like, I'm like, all right, buckle up, everyone. You know, it's gonna be a long flight. But like, I love that conscious rap. Like, not worrying about like the hooks, just worrying about like the content and kind of like, you know, that overall message. But I do get what you're saying about like Kendrick, concept after concept after concept.
It's a big metaphor.
Dude, all it.
I think Jay-Z too though.
He does that.
Yeah.
He does do that. I think that's where
like
Kendrick
Blueprint,
Kendrick
Black
is
Album, etc.
a student of Jay-Z.
I think
Of course,
so.
right?
100%,
Like, you know,
1,000%.
So
I
would you say when you're making tracks or your music too, is that something you try to pull far more towards? Like,
So like TRZ producer, everybody always tells me like I'm always about content, like concept. The concept. So every single time I make a song, I have to have a concept. You know what I mean? For me, I'm at my best when I do that, because that's what I fall in love with. You know what I mean? Even the song that we made, you know what I mean?
Out now, streaming on Spotify, Apple Music. Title pays the most. It's called Deserve, featuring me truly.
Let's go. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Video shot by these by these two the goats.
Company.
Yeah,
Check it out.
but
Video coming out tomorrow.
don't date it. Don't date it.
Yeah.
It might be out by the time you see this.
Exactly.
it's cool. We can link in the podcast episode.
Hey.
Check out King Ralph's music. We got a beautiful music video. You know,
Shit is
put
fire.
together
Shit
by
is
the
so
team.
fire.
So we'll have that linked in the description as well.
But yes,
I will take.
for me, especially with that song, it was definitely a concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you hit
I
me
wanted-
about the concept.
I wanted to talk about like, hey man,
and I want to
I've
talk
been-
on that too after you're done.
I wanted to talk about like, hey man, like we've been really working. You know what I mean? And let's if we
deserve
working,
this.
we deserve to like
Right.
either get whatever we want or go wherever we want. You know what I mean? And and that's what I wanted to talk about, because like that's the staple of my life. You know what I mean? Like if you gonna work hard, you gonna play.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it just
Tomorrow's
doesn't
not
balance
What's the
well.
point of all that hard work?
It doesn't balance well. And I saw my guy over here out here living his life.
Love.
Hey, living his best life in Greece. As soon as he touched back down, I was like, I sent him the song like, hey, yo, what's up? because I feel like I want to capture that moment real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, what's up, man? You trying to get on this? And then he heard the shit. And it's like, I just knew what he was going to talk about. I just knew it. You know what I mean? Because I know it was like circulating around his head. You know what I mean? And I feel like for me, just creating songs like that is it always sounds better. It just stitches better together. You know what I mean? It just makes sense from A to Z.
For me too, like I find myself being ultra conceptual. Like with previous like works that I've done, it's like almost to what Kevin was saying, to where it's like Lupe-esque, to where it is too conceptual, to where I don't have that fan base yet to dive deep into my music and get why I'm saying this here.
It's like relatable. You kind of lose the relatability, I guess, because it's so conceptual.
Oh, I can hear you rapping really well, but I'm not knowing what I
get. You have 100,000 fans. Then they gonna be like,
I'm gonna have people that
they want it,
right?
They know what they're getting.
Right.
You're like with any intellectual property in IP, the first 1-2 iterations is building your world. Right. I'm building, Final Fantasy,
Kevin
Dragon Ball
Land.
Z. I'm building, Genghis Kevland, where I'm just a Mongol. And essentially, once people buy into that,
then
they're down for the ride.
Right.
They're like,
Harry Potter, etc.
Yeah. Like, dude, I mean, like, think about Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling got turned like around by like so many publishers.
Right.
And until the first person gave her an opportunity, it was like, all right, we'll run with this fucking wizard shit.
Yeah.
And like made it happen. Like, dude, you got Universal Studios. You got so many things eating IPs.
Billion-dollar franchise.
Yeah. And like, it's frustrating because everyone just kind of like, oh, you think you're a creative. You don't have any stance or anything. People like Stan Lee fucking died, like, but died knowing that their IP was worth something. Marvel was going to go under one time. Sony could have bought the entire Marvel catalog for $10 million. But instead just took Spider-Man for $3.
They fumbled that
dummies.
So put that in perspective of like the creative like juices that like a couple people can have, and like what you're doing with like the first. I mean, I don't know how many albums you have, but like saying like the first couple albums with certain people, I mean, like Lupe, for example, you have Food and Liquor, and you have The Cool, and after that it's like. Everyone's down for lasers, everyone's down for like, I don't even know, Dragon, stuff like that.
Jordan's Wave,
and I think that's the same thing that like Kendrick Lamar really capitalized on.
Yeah.
Is after you had like, I mean, I was listening to in like 2012, Section 80, Overly Dedicated, and he just dropped Good Kid, Mad City, and that's when everyone was messing with him. He was on like fucking Problems. He was like playing like what is it, swimming pools. Just like just all that, and just kind of like stepped up from there. But my bad. I got it.
Yeah. So to go back to what you were saying, just to finish the point, when you hit me about that, I did a 5-track EP about
he did. He did too.
I recorded it out there.
So it was still fresh.
I recorded it out there, right?
It's still up.
So it was cool. Like it was just like,
how was that experience creating in a space like
That's
that?
fire.
Like, is it like, because we were fortunate enough to be able to visit there, and I felt like it was like a dream space. Like I felt so present. So I can't imagine creating in that type of space.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's talk about traveling and inspiration, because we got a little travel club going on. Everybody been doing their thing, hopping around places.
Yeah.
More recently, I know you've been globe-trotting. Rob was just in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You've been out to like Greece and like half of Europe. So like talking about as far as inspiration in music, can you tell us about some of your experiences abroad and then how that has kind of impacted your creation?
So from like to start with what Savannah was asking, it was exactly what you're saying. Like I was like very present, but since when we were island hopping, like you would have like 3 hours on the ferry. So I would just be there. And I had like these beats from my homies like Van, shout out Van, the homie Mamadou, shout out Du. He like people would just like be sending me beats, and I had like a folder of beats, and I would just like listen to them because I'm like a workaholic in that way. I don't like wasted time.
Yeah.
So I'm always doing something. I'm never bored. I don't know the last time I've been bored in my life.
Nice.
So I'm like always doing something. So I'm on a ferry. So I'm just like, I might as well write a song. And it's just like, and it like sort of came in that way. And it was like, I'm able to draw from the experiences of traveling. And for me, and like from where I come from, and my first, what we were talking earlier, my first flight was 2019.
Yeah, dude.
And I've never been on a flight before, and I was to Japan.
Insane.
I was like, now you can't stop.
And now I can't. Now I literally can't stop. And it's like I have like so much to say about it, so much because I'm a adventurer at heart. So before I was like traveling, it would be whatever I can adventure with. Would it be like, I want to go try this food place. I want to go like anything. Like I was like, I've always been that way. So with traveling, it's like actually adventure. So it's like indulging in those cultures. It kind of like, I would say levels me out. It kind of like some things that I think aren't as important are important, but things that I think are super important aren't important.
Yeah.
And it's like it like
Love
puts
that.
me there where it's like in America, we got things kind of messed up with certain situations as far as like career and life and money and whatever. Like for example, just to stick on Greece, I went the last day we were on the islands was Halloween, because we went for my girlfriend's birthday, which is November 1st. So the last day we were on Mykonos before we went to Athens was on the 31st. That was the last day of the season.
Oh.
So interesting conversation comes from that. So the guy's telling me, he's like, oh, we had the whole entire resort to ourselves.
Wow.
The whole entire resort to ourselves. We had the entire beach. It was like a private beach to ourselves.
God.
It was insane.
Oh.
It was insane. So that if you ever go look up Greetings from Greece, when I'm standing on the beach like that, is nobody on the beach with me.
Damn.
So I'm talking to the taxi guy, and I'm like, yeah, so like, he's like, yeah, nobody lives on Santorini or Mykonos. We all like 70% of the population lives in Athens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we're going to Athens tomorrow. Like, so what do you guys do? Like, what do the people do like when they're not working? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you said the season doesn't start till after Easter.
Yeah,
That's like 4 months away.
that's true.
He's like, well, I mean, some people go and like get another job, but for the most part, we just like go on vacation.
They
Or
make
we
so
just go
much
on
during
holiday.
that high season.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't try to like it's having the most amount of money they can get isn't like their
The
like
goal.
goal.
Yeah.
So it's like we chilling like until the season. Like we're
It's like with farmers. You know, you make your harvest and you enjoy what you sow. And like, I think that mentality is lost with Americans.
Yeah.
We're always
Sure.
hustle culture.
Exactly.
Is cancerous and kind of almost the thing that deteriorates us. It's like, oh yeah,
Right.
keep going, keep grinding,
Right.
rise and grind, keep doing this, you know.
Right.
But like for them, and like I know you have a fascination with Italy. Is like, yo, just make enough to enjoy your life, and you'll be good.
Right.
You know, and like, you know, you enjoy your siesta, you like go out, you know, you have your, you know, usual things that you do, and then you're okay with that.
Right.
Instead of like kind of like really like, oh, like I gotta squeeze the juice out of like
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's
life.
what I think it's like. For me, I would say probably traveling might have had the biggest input as far as like framing what success means. Because it's like, as I look at it today, like as who I am today and what I've done more, like on my blog, I've done more. When I go home, people are like, what the, like they act like I'm fucking Warren Buffett or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and
well, you
it's
see
like,
these low increase, you know,
and
dividend
it's like,
bonds.
it's like for me, it's like, I kind of like I understand it. Like I'm not far from them. No. So it's like, I understand it because I've done a lot of the things that I've wanted to do. And like I have, as far as materialistic things, the stuff that I want. So if we look at it like success like that, it's like,
What
you know what I
next?
mean? What
Mama,
else?
I made it.
Yeah, like that's like, but it's like I'm not a millionaire or nothing. And it's like in America, it's like if I tell somebody I feel that way, they're gonna look at me crazy. Like, oh, you act like you got $1 billion. Like, nigga, what I'm telling you is I don't need $1 billion. I don't need $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm cool. I
The
feel
experience is
good.
more.
And it's like, I think we live in like so much of like that survivor mode to where it's like we're always like trying to like make it to the next thing. And when we have any wiggle room, then that just goes to luxury.
Yeah.
And it don't matter if you want it or not. You know what I mean?
It's just a number. It's like I think what you're getting on is America's problem with excess.
Yeah.
And the idea that like you harvest too much.
Right.
So one thing that like during the pandemic that I really started watching, weird shit, is just like it's just like these outdoor chefs who like would like fish and like cook their food like on the shore and stuff. Like, I mean, I forced her to watch it. She's like, "What the fuck is this, Kevin?
That's
Like
cool.
this guy's pulling a fucking cod from out the thing and just like making this." But like, there's a cap to how many like Dungeness crabs or fish you can have, you know, whatever. But like, the reason why they have that is so you don't overfish.
Yeah.
You know, you don't over kind of like, you don't burn out the ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you don't do that.
When
I
Crap
think
for next year.
that's something that like we as, you know, people don't really understand career wise.
Right.
But you're like slowly starting to get, because you've traveled.
Right.
You know, what is it? Tyler the Creator says like the most important thing to me is my passport.
Yeah.
Because, you know, getting out of this like bubble, that is Los Angeles, you realize so much.
Bro, I don't need a Ferrari.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Exactly.
That is not a goal of mine.
Yeah.
If I get a Ferrari one day, cool. Y'all could drive it.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be just like my car I have now.
I got Gran Turismo 5 on my PS5. Like,
Right, literally.
Like, you know,
Like,
God, Need for
so
Speed
it's-
Unbound. Like,
It's like I don't, and I've always been kind of in my own kind of lane in that way, to where it's like I want what I want, and it doesn't matter if you think it's cool or not, or if you value it or not. This is what I want. So sometimes it coincides with what the narrative is, or what the, you know, like, oh, that is luxury, or that is cool, or that is like excess or whatever. And so be it. But sometimes it doesn't. And I'm fine with both sides. Like, because it's me, and that's where that's sort of like where I just try to live. So like in my music, that's what I look at success as in my life. That's what I look at success as. I look at it as like, I wanted to get this across. Did I get this across? I did. Okay, cool. And then I just move on from there.
Have you always had that, like, it's like a clear vision of like knowing you or understanding you.
No. And I think like it's multiple things, right? Like growing up in an environment of I hate to be that person. But like just growing up in like a Los Angeles stereotypical environment, let's say that.
Sure. Yeah.
And then going to college, that was a big culture shock for me.
Sure.
And then going from college to like real life was a big culture shock for me.
Yeah.
And then from that to like figuring it out, it's like all like big things for me. And I think I've taken something from each step to where it's like, I feel like, to answer your question, at my core, it's sort of always been like that, because I always kind of like I wouldn't say, I think the best way to put it is that I'm introverted in the sense of like how I experience the world. So I experience it internally first.
Sure.
And then like that's where everything comes from. So like I'm my harshest critic. Like it's not, you can't say something to hurt my feelings outside of like what I feel. Like I'm like, so like when I think of introverted, I think of like how I experience the world. Like not like quiet or something, because I don't know if I'm introverted in that way. But like, so I think it starts from there. Like everything comes from like internally. And I think that was a good place for me to start to figure this stuff out. And like, I'm still figuring it out, but it was like, it's me figuring me out, not me trying to figure out what this person thinks, what that person thinks.
Yeah.
This is in style, I need that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care.
You're not
Like,
chasing. Yeah.
I'm not chasing that. And it's like, for me, it was more so just like working out. Why do you want that? Why do you need that? Why are you valuing that? For me.
When did you start kind of like asking more questions like that? Like, was that in your college years that you started? Because I feel like for me, I've been, because you can just like live through life without asking those questions about, you know, like, why did that make me feel that way? Or why do I like this? Or why don't I like that? And, you know, for me, I feel like I'm like in a point in my life where I'm digging deeper and asking more questions like that, and, you know, having a better understanding of myself. So I'm just kind of interested in like other people's like journeys and like where they're at, and, you know, because I'm trying to understand it, and I want my friends and people that I care about to like understand it too. So that way we're not just like, you know, just
Wandering
floating through life.
lost.
Yeah. And then
You know, I was gonna say, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I've always been that, but it there, as you kept going, I realized that there is like a specific thing that I would say recently, and it could be recency bias, recently, whatever. We've been drinking too much. Nah, but that I think like it's pretty much recent. Like I would say 2017, 2018, and it's like I got more into investing, and I've always been into investing, but I was into it like the wrong way initially, and then I got more into it like let me not say the wrong way. I was into what I perceived to be the wrong way, and now what I feel like I've corrected that, and I feel like one of the people that was instrumental in that was like Warren Buffett and like Charlie Munger. And it's like, what the hell, these 90, 100-year-old white men, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
How you relate to them?
Yeah.
From Nebraska.
Yeah, from Nebraska.
What the fuck are you talking about? But it's because they didn't throw no extras on nothing. Like one of the things that they said was like, you know, if you want to be an investor and you have a genius IQ or you have a 140-point IQ, then you can give 30 to someone else because you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Like you don't need to be smart for this.
Yeah.
So you got to think of like American culture, especially today with social media and everyone being a guru and all that stuff. how people try to monetize information and how people try to make, if anyone's job, how everyone tries to your colleagues try to make their job seem so hard.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, I do the same job.
You know
it's
what
not
I'm
that
saying?
hard, bro.
Yeah,
but
you
like
send a couple emails. It's not that crazy.
Right, it's not that crazy. But it's like we live in a thing to where people always try to find value in that. And it was like to see someone who I'm looking at as the most successful in their field, two of the most successful people in their field say it's not like.
It's not like that.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All it takes is this. It's a character thing. It's a this thing. It's a that thing. That kind of like was something that helped me like kind of break away from like falling into like bullshit traps.
Yeah.
True.
Some societal norms
Yeah.
or what? Just general kind of
And just
unreasonable expectations.
And picking like always just I would say just growing up in Los Angeles, a lot of people do what we like to say is run game, right?
Run game.
And so I kind of always been on that like bullshit you basically.
Oh, I see.
So I kind of always like been up on that, but like you kind of like don't expect that professionally, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
But
I get it.
it's the worst thing.
yeah,
It is.
It's the
absolute
peak.
worst.
The peak there.
It's where we talking about
It's a
millions.
financial incentive.
We're not talking about $100.
Yeah.
Inefficiencies create jobs.
Exactly.
And I'm about to say something that's like may or may not be well received, but
Time mark.
for instance, in 2001, right after 9/11 happened, you have the TSA.
Right.
TSA has provided tons of jobs.
Homeland Security as
You know,
well.
Homeland Security, all these kinds of things. And like because of that, like it supplies so many people with careers and benefits and all these other things. But
Right.
ultimately it comes down to, the weaponization of information.
Right.
And like here's a deep cut for
And the
you.
monetization.
Yes, very true.
Okay.
Have you guys watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Ooh, yeah. Wait.
Okay.
Wait,
Before we get too deep, because I do
Oh, no,
think
no,
that we're
all
gonna
good.
start running out of camera battery
Oh,
soon.
it's all good.
So we'll probably be wrapping up within the next 10 to 15
Sure.
minutes. What's the time? Say louder, Savannah. Speak out loud.
5 minutes.
So like, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about, because we were talking about travel and inspiration.
something
I want to
else.
hear about
No,
Ralph's
no.
journey to Nigeria recently, and kind of some of the
Yeah.
experiences you
Most
had,
definitely.
and then we'll wrap up for the week.
Avatar: The Last Airbender goes to Nigeria with Ralph. Ralph, you have it. Take the stage.
Tell us about
No,
Nigeria.
well, first of all, I wanted to say like about traveling, how like for me, something that I've learned is that it's really interesting to understand cultures, because here in the States we really don't have a culture.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's
Consumer culture.
It's like it's a melting
Pop
pot.
culture.
Yeah.
It's a it's a melting pot. Like we eat Chinese food or Mediterranean food or
Right.
Indian food, and we think we know the culture.
True. right.
We don't know the culture.
chicken.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Orange chicken. Traveling, going to places that actually have a culture is really key, because you either learn some of the strengths or the weaknesses, but you learn something,
Yes.
and then you could use it within your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really important to go out and travel and not stay either in the States or where you're from or wherever, because you have to go and understand cultures.
Be immersed.
Just understand it and pick it up from there. Go ahead.
So I was just like touching upon your kind of like trip to Nigeria. It's like, what was the most culture shock? What was like, kind of as an American who's traveling to a different place, like what kind of jarred you the most?
It's just interesting because being black, being African American, being Nigerian American, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Going to Nigeria and everyone is black.
It was crazy.
Everyone is black. So it's very interesting because you could kind of see the the different confidence. Because when you're in the States and you're black, there's certain things you cannot say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you can't do.
Yeah.
But when you go to a place like Africa or Nigeria and it's predominantly black, you know that there was some white people there was some Asian people there was
Sprinkled.
there was and they were the minority. So it's just interesting, you know what I mean? But you could feel the confidence in these people. You know what I mean? They were like whatever they did, they did it with some pride.
It was throughout. Like, you could just feel it like everywhere.
So that's something that I know. It's like, wow, it's cool. Crazy seeing a bunch of black people with that kind of like pride for culture, pride of themselves. You know what I mean? So that was really, even when they did argue, like we're talking, like I was telling you before we did this, how the driving, it was insane.
Yeah.
Right? Like they would be driving and like sidewalks, people cutting off each other. But you know, they would talk shit. They would talk shit and everything. Like, oh, what are you doing? Blah, 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 this and that. But nobody's gonna like pull up a gun or shoot nobody or stab nobody. You do that here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You honk 3 times. Somebody's coming out the car trying to fuck you up. But there it's different. You know what I mean? It's just part of the culture. And like it, just going there and experiencing that is just it was like, it felt good. It felt good. You know what I mean? The other parts that obviously that you miss about the States, like we were talking about, you know what I mean, is electricity flowing everywhere.
True.
Water.
Yeah, so there's electricity everywhere. Running water.
Warm water pressure.
Can I charge my
all of
iPhone?
that. You know
Do you
what
guys
I
have a
mean?
supercharger?
They were eating the chicken in the cow. The beef was farm fresh. You know?
That's
Hey, man.
you know what I
He was
mean?
saying-
Which is interesting, like I was telling you.
said,
know what I mean?
You want
Like,
steak?
yeah,
Okay.
Talk about the chicken. Talk about the chicken.
They'd be like chickens and cows running around, playing with each other, having fun. You can even see them smiling and shit. But they don't even know they supposed to be dinner.
Earlier, Ralph was telling me about it. He was like, the chicken's really free range.
They really free range.
You gotta go catch it.
They really free range. They
you want
really
10
like just chilling, you know,
Yeah,
just on the streets, just chilling. And then,
Definitely.
you know what I mean? But shit, for Christmas dinner, that's what we having.
You gotta go catch the 10 beast bucket. You know, it's
It was a bomb
definitely out
though? Was
there.
it like
This shit is fire.
She was fire.
Like
What's the-
like we were just talking about, like in the States, it's just filled with a lot of preservative. You could taste
really
it.
You can taste it.
Yeah.
You can really taste it now. Like coming back here,
Yeah.
and I'm tasting like I go to like different like Ralph's and all these other
Anything.
grocery stores,
No,
and then you buy
yeah.
like the steak and stuff. You're
Okay,
like,
cool.
you could taste the preservatives and all the bullshit that they
Yeah.
put.
But imagine if you never got out of this bullshit.
Exactly.
You just like
wouldn't
maintain
know.
yourself in this fog and just like never traveled. Like
Exactly, and that's
you
why
wouldn't,
it's
you
so
wouldn't know.
good
But like I respect that.
to travel and experience different cultures, because right here it's not a culture. It's not a culture. It's just a melting pot,
It's
and
capitalism.
and it's capitalism at the highest. And don't get me wrong, capitalism is great, but U.S. is an extreme capitalist country.
Yeah.
It's extreme. You go to Netherlands. It's they're not fully socialist. They're not fully a capitalist. They're right in the middle. They
take
have
care
a
of their people.
form. They have a little bit of in between, and I think that's the best. You go different places, and that's how it is. You know what I mean? Obviously, you go to China, they're full socialist.
So to bring it right back to what we were talking about, capitalism is the AI, and our culture is like what we kind of like take of it and kind of like really like meld it, because you go into Nigeria and experiencing like, you know, food there or the culture there is truly the kind of like
Technology. It's crazy.
core of like the soul of humanity and things like that. When you come here, you're just under some AI algorithm.
Exactly.
You know, some robot shit, but like
Exactly.
People like when we visited Santorini.
Oh, yeah?
One thing we noticed was that anytime the sun was setting, everyone would come to the sunset side of the island.
Okay.
And would just watch the sunset. Even like the workers who were like still
of
on
Fearless.
duty, would
They're
just
like, fuck
stop
it.
and they would
go over there. That's
they would
dope.
just stop and then just watch. And then when it was done, they would just finish. But like
You'd
everyone,
look up on the cliffs and there'd just be crowds of people just finding a spot, just watching the sunset.
everyone would
That's
just
dope.
And they even clapped a couple of times. Like the whole, everyone would just clap for the sunset.
wow.
and then it
You
was
won't
just
see
like,
that over here.
No.
People too busy.
Yo,
like I got
yeah,
another
right.
shift.
your ass back to work. The manager.
You're not allowed to clock out. Like, damn.
Which is just appreciating that little moment.
That's what I'm
It's
saying. Like,
crazy.
so
It's
I already
dope.
felt so present just being in that space and just like, because everyone is there and it's like with the same intention of just like slowing down and taking it all in, which I'm actually trying to learn how to practice in my like just everyday life.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
Money
something-
is not everything.
Present.
Yeah,
gonna learn
And
how.
it's like
It's
we have to learn that
exactly.
over here
yeah.
because it influences too many things. Like it influences what something is good. Like if it makes a lot of money, that it means it's good.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like if you make a lot of money, does that mean you're successful? It's like if like there's a bunch of like there's a bunch of like sad to say, but there's a bunch of people who are depressed or who like go through things
Yeah.
who have a lot of monetary things like and or
So, for example, David Cho and Anthony Bourdain, those
perfect
guys,
example.
200 million. Anthony Bourdain has the best show on the
Dream
planet.
life.
And you just like, David Cho once asked Anthony Bourdain, was like, when does it get better? You know, when they're both at the top. And he's like, and then Anthony Bourdain was like, I don't know. Because like, you chase this money and think that it'll solve everything. But in the end, it just kind of magnifies your own problems.
gives you the flexibility to be more of what you already were. It's just easier
know?
to
The worst
like,
parts of you,
What's
though,
up?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it gets like affirmed
yeah.
because people just want stuff from you.
Yeah.
Yes, man. Like
Like,
surrounded by
yeah,
people that are
like I
just,
could just say do whatever because you need me in your life. Like think of like
And then you're
Kanye
like,
West.
yeah, I was gonna say, and then you're like, I love Hitler.
I'm just gonna self-implode.
Oh,
Yeah,
when he said that, I was just like,
Oh yeah. What's good?
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I don't know. Life is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And perception, that's a big word that just keeps popping out in my head recently. Just
Yeah.
like
the logos.
perception is almost everything. And logos, yeah.
The logos.
But I don't know. I feel like that's a whole nother like pod topic. Just like I don't know. I feel like so we've known you guys since I was
2008.
18, yeah, like
2008.
19, 18 or
Youngsters.
19.
For youngsters.
That's
And
crazy.
I just feel like we all have grown so much, and I'd love to pick your guys' brains more on just what that personal growth journey has been like, because I feel like I don't know. I feel your guys' energy. It feels like just how it was, like at the core, it's just right.
That's
like,
not gonna change.
but we're just like mature though, and I know that there's
Yeah.
some things that you've learned and some things that I've learned that I'd love to just
We've
like
all
go
been
back
through a lot
and
of
forth.
life.
Yeah, done some living.
Which is
So
good.
yeah, it's just cool to be able to be here with you guys, like, and have these conversations. And I definitely want to do this again, and I feel like we can get even deeper.
We gotta run it back.
Deeper.
Next episode, we can talk about
Growth.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
Final thoughts?
definitely down.
So before we get to final thoughts, are there any like anything you guys are excited about, or any like let's say maybe there's like an interesting idea on your mind that you wanted to talk about, or maybe something you're excited about, or something you saw that was really interesting that I'd like to share? Anything like that? Any little random thought that's been crossing your mind where you're like, that's kind of interesting, or just something you're excited to share? Anything about the future? Kind of a little open platform to speak whatever you'd like.
About the future, that's easy. We got a video that you guys shot
Let's go.
coming out soon.
You know the fucking lines.
And I also have another song that I done with my friend Trev Deshawn.
Nice.
Somebody that I've known actually longer than you guys.
Dang.
Like
All right.
high school,
Cool.
freshman year.
That's dope.
That's
That's
family right
Chess.
there.
Yeah,
That's
right?
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, so that's typically like a lot of my relationships are long standing.
Nice.
And
No quick
then-
turnaround rate.
Turnover.
And then the new ones come from the long standing
Yeah, yeah.
relationship.
nice.
So
Vetted.
so that song is coming out soon as well. And I'm just as an artist, the artist part of me is trying to be more active this year.
Nice.
That's
Release
good.
more songs.
Come on. Yeah, we need more for both y'all.
Yeah. What we got so far has been awesome. I gotta say, it's like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it
Oh
going.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
what's good?
But I
Oh.
guess off topic now.
That's all right. Yeah,
I
whatever.
mean, for me, it's just, I guess, just growing as an as an artist. I know we kind of talked about like doing something out of the box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he made a great point in which, like, social media could just take you so far. You know what I mean?
In a good way or bad way? Or both?
Both, but it does have its limitation from what I remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think for me this year, just hearing something like that is just thinking out the box, you know, but still staying within my box.
Yeah.
That's the
Within your
biggest
lane.
thing for me as like a creative is like when I started like being outside of myself, one, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And two, it's not good to me.
Yeah.
And that matters more.
Doesn't
Like I
feel
said,
good.
that introverted thought, that it matters more to me than it's good than it matters to you if it's good. So it's like I like can't make songs for other people.
Yeah.
Like
It's good that you know that.
yeah, I do know, and I you can know that and still fall into that trap, right? Because I've
Be
been
alert.
born and raised in United States, California, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you can't get too much more hyper capitalistic than this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like you still fall into those things that you were taught as what success is or what good is. And it's important to understand when I'm doing this, I'm not doing this from this place or for me. I'm doing this for that place. Because this is what I was told this is good if these amount of people like it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but these amount of people like
They don't know what the fuck they like. They don't know what the fuck they like.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? They like Robot Boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like important for me to always remember that. Like, I pride myself on having taste.
Yeah.
That's like one thing that I pride myself on. I don't care
key.
if it's clothes, if it's music, if it's food, if it's
All of it.
whatever. Like, you
Yeah.
know, it's like if you care about it, I care about it.
Yeah.
And if you care about it, I'm gonna understand where you're coming from. Now, we were talking about the Yamazaki 12, right?
Yeah.
It was like, it's weird. I appreciate the artistry of it. It's not my favorite, but I understand it's not just some thrown together nonsense. You know what I mean? So it's like I say that to say that like the artistry of things matter to me, and if you put your effort in it, I value it, and like that informs my taste.
Yeah, I got you.
I think.
Yeah.
Just to finish
Level.
what I was saying in terms of like what I want to continue to do, you know, when I write now, I don't want to think so much. I want my instincts to lead the way.
Yeah.
To lead the way because it just sounds so much better. The little freestyle I sent you,
Yeah.
like Dennis, he always sends me beats. You know what I mean? The lyrical exercises. And it's I learned it from that. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm not trying. I don't want to try. I like whatever the beat tells me, I'm
go.
going.
Yeah.
So I want my artistry to follow suit with that.
Yeah, it's working a muscle.
Instinctively, you know what I mean? Like not overthinking it. You know what I mean? Whatever I feel, I'm gonna go do it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like the idea that I kind of shot to you.
Yeah.
I thought about that, like, oh shit, you know, that feels kind of cool. Let me shoot it to y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want that to continue to lead me, even with the song, the video. You know what I mean? It was never premeditated. It was all like, oh shit, something somewhere told me, boom, let me follow it.
You're just
like,
trusting your gut and your instinct more and letting that kind of
let it guide me, because it just feels better.
Yeah.
It feels better. Like when you kind of like overthink it or like premeditate it too much. Not saying like sometimes premeditating it just to structure it right is good. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's good. Just it's
following
great.
that raw.
But following like whatever calling, continue. Just being able to like hear it more. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I want to hear it more. I want to be able to hear it and just like go more. Hear it and go. Hear it, go. Like, okay, be a master at that.
Yeah.
Feel it and follow.
That's good.
I think that's a wonderful, wonderful mindset thought to wrap up on. What we like to do at the end of each podcast episode is we give final thoughts. So we just share whatever thoughts you'd like to leave for our wonderful listeners on the Dipped podcast.
Yep.
You know, because Nora is like Dipped in Nonsense podcast. So I was like, the Dipped podcast.
We have to, we had a little
For the Dipped
structure
podcast
change.
listeners.
Structure change.
Dipped in the Dip. So we're going to start Brother Kevin and we'll work our way counterclockwise.
Something that I've had to get over is don't sandbag yourself. Don't fucking let anyone hold you back, and don't feel that you need to accommodate any of those individuals who aren't up to your speed. Because if I'm gonna go, I want to run full speed, and you know you're either with the cheetahs or you're not.
Yeah,
and
you're hanging with the sheep.
Honestly, like it's a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes you gotta cut those yellow leaves and get on with it, you know, and appreciate the people that do support you and the people that are there for the long run.
Preach.
Nice. Yeah, so I've been reading a lot of self-help books, which I feel like everyone should do. If you can't afford a therapist, grab a book.
Can't afford a therapist?
Get off Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hey
You're
Siri.
struggling right now. Don't go on Twitter.
Yeah, like Twitter's the worst part. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you ain't taking the $100,000 vacations. You a broke ass bum.
Yeah, right. Well,
I'm taking a dinner with you.
yeah. Why are you even there? Why?
$100,000 or dinner with Jay-Z.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Compound interest.
Live yourself.
Pretty much. I feel like I just started like really, getting into this, and it's changed my life already. I started reading this book called Untethered Soul in Greece, and that opened the doors. It opened the doors of this way of thinking that has just changed my life, and I feel like I'm floating through it like easier. I just, you just kind of have an understanding of things. And anyways, so I'm reading this book right now called Think Like a Monk. Highly recommended by a few friends. It's by this author named Jay Shetty, and he has a podcast too. And I was reading it today, and I thought I would share this part that is pretty cool.
Let's hear it.
All right. Often we notice fear's warning, but ignore its guidance. If we learn how to recognize what fear can teach us about ourselves and what we value, then we can use it as a tool to obtain greater meaning, purpose, and fulfillment in our lives. So that really stood out to me because, like doubt or, just fear of anything. Like if you just like if you're aware of it and you can like begin to understand why, you might be able to face it and overcome it. I mean, I think you can. There's like some things that are in your control and there's some things that aren't. And the ones that are in your control, you can overcome it. So anyways, I think just facing my fears is something I'm starting to do, and I hope that all you do that too, because your fears are something that you create, and yeah,
conquer them.
Courageous.
yeah, it's like these mind games is life,
Is it all? Yeah, brain games.
And I think when you have like a better understanding of it, then you can use it as a tool instead of something that like controls you. You know what I'm saying? Anyways,
Big facts.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Savannah.
Yeah.
Nice final thought. I think kind of piggybacking off that a little bit is I read that Atomic Habits book, which was recommended by her, Miss Self-Help Queen.
I'm on it.
Self-help.
Hey, that's another one. Atomic Habits
I
is
think-
so good. Have you heard of it?
I heard. Is that what you call
Something
it?
Clear, James Clear.
Oh, okay.
James Clear.
Yeah, somebody else.
It's like
It's hella good.
highly rated. I have
Yeah.
a friend who doesn't read, and I was like, I'm just buying books and giving them to friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And she just finished it today, actually, and texted me and was just like, I just finished it. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. You know,
Yeah.
like, these are some things that's like,
It's helpful.
it's very helpful,
So-
you know?
Yeah.
So, like, part of the Atomic Habits book is like, we're creatures of habit, and we have habits, good or bad, and you can take steps in. They kind of present a very clear, just well presented plan to approach it. They simplify it to like its basic core principles of like adopting a new habit to make changes, and you don't have to be like, oh, I'm gonna start waking up at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Right.
Like Atomic Habits is it's like four parts of the rule, but a couple of the main things is like clarity, and two of the things that stick out to me most are like make it obvious and make it easy. So when you're trying to adopt a new habit, at first you want to make it very visible. If it's a bad habit, you want to make it not something that's in your view. So if you're trying to smoke weed, let's put the weed shit away. Or if you're trying to like
Right.
work out more, leave the gym clothes out. Like it's like, make it obvious, kind of set up the environment so that way you can flow through it. Another thing too is about clarity, and how a lot of times when people are trying to adopt a new habit, the reason why they don't continue with the habit isn't because it's too difficult. It's because there's a lack of clarity to it. So when you say, I'm going to get healthy this year, and like, that's the new habit. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to start working out more. That's the new habit I want to build. But there's no clarity to it. So then when it comes time to do it, you're like, but then if you say, okay, at 4 p.m., I'm going to put on my gym clothes and go to the gym every day.
Describe the steps.
You have to
Yeah.
like be
Think of the
specific with the
details,
time and
yeah.
the detail, just the clarity behind it. So like being clear with the habits you want to present. But I think the make it easy is the one that's been most on my mind. And it's like, okay, my goal ultimately, let's say for example, it's waking up at 6:30 a.m. and right now you wake up at like 8. Instead of being like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go straight to waking up at 6:30 a.m. That's probably not going to be a habit that you can continually do because you're making such a huge jump. Instead, a better one would be, I'll wake up at 7:30 for the next 3 weeks. And then after that 3 weeks, I'll go another 30
More
minutes. Or
realistic.
you make it easier. Or like when going to the gym, instead of doing an hour workout twice a week, break it into...
They said even starting with 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Like
To
so
start
like,
a new habit,
it's
2 minutes.
Atomic habit. So like stripping it down, what is like the smallest amount to where I can
Just be
just
consistent.
begin and be consistent with
makes
it?
sense.
And so it's like approaching anything you want to do. When it comes to like, oh, I want to learn piano,
Some,
I'll just play for 5 minutes a day, or I'll just smash the keys for like 2 minutes a day. Like you don't even have to like, but it's like, it's just like make it as easy as possible to where once you're doing it every day, then it's like, well, I'm already here. I already do this, so it makes it easier to build on it. So
afterwards, they can be encouraged. That makes sense.
so those are, out of everything in the book, I think those are the two that are really sticking with me and what I want to share with folks. I'm sorry it took so long to get to that point, but make it obvious, make it easy. And as long as you're kind of making progress towards whatever it is, even if it's an atomic amount, hence the title Atomic Habits, you can
They grow
take
into
your
bigger
time and
things,
slow.
yeah.
So even that is like
Little
on
actions,
my mind
long term and
all
bigger
the
effects.
time. It's on my mind all the time.
Yeah.
Just like now, and I'm like, just make it obvious, make it easy. So it's like, okay, I really don't feel like going to the gym today, but all right, instead of doing the 4 exercises I normally, I'll just do 1. So at least I'm going to the gym every day. So it's like, make it easy. So like, no matter what, there's progress, and just learning how to like look through life in that way. And
Yeah,
I
aren't
feel
we
like
a
that was-
culmination of our small decisions and
Yeah.
choices,
Yeah.
you know?
Also, to piggyback off of that is to not beat yourself up when you don't do the habit that you're trying to create for yourself. Like sometimes, you're trying to build a habit of, let's say, like working out more, right? And then you skip a day or a couple days, and you're just like, man, you just give up on it because you're like, I'm not getting through it. I already broke what I wanted. We've talked about this on previous podcasts, but just like having compassion for yourself and just knowing that like it's okay that I didn't get it this day. It's okay that I didn't get it the next day. I always have tomorrow. It's like it's never. It's like you got to be your biggest fan. You got to be your biggest supporter in life, and so don't beat yourself up for things that you're trying to accomplish, and it might slip sometimes. But it's like be there for yourself.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I will piggyback off of what you guys said. Like, I think describing success for yourself, I think that's a common theme that we've touched on. And realizing what that is, like what success is, why you want that thing, and being real with yourself. Is it just to impress somebody else? Is it just to make your mom or dad happy? Is it just for social status? What does that mean to you? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves. And then I think more so to what you guys are just talking about habits, is that's like a thing that's true to me. I haven't read that book, but I'm familiar with it as far as the title. Yeah. I've heard of it, but it's crazy. Like I've kind of sort of developed sort of those things, right? And I think a thing that's helped me do that, one of the things that helped me do that is learning, like trying to learn languages. Because you like, okay, I want to learn Japanese, or I want to learn whatever, French. And it's like, you just look up at the mountain, like,
That's how I feel.
like especially Japanese.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, like this shit.
I'm just starting to learn piano. It's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
And then when it's like, oh, you got to play both hands at the same time, I almost
Right.
quit altogether. But yeah,
I
continued, but it literally like is like fuck.
So it's like you're looking, I feel like so many of us just look at the top of the mountain, right? We just look at being fluent, or we just look at being able to hear a note and be able to play it, or hear a song and be able to play it, or we look at the final product.
Yes.
And it becomes daunting. So initially it could be like almost invigorating, right? It could be like, it could drive you to do it, but that wears off fast because
Your own thoughts.
Challenge.
and it's like, dang, I've been doing this for a week and I'm still looking at that same peak that's way up there. You know what I mean?
I barely went a foot.
Yeah, I barely moved at all. So for like, I think like just taking things a day at a time, a step at a time, and just doing like, I know these things are right. So let me do these things right today.
Yeah.
That's all you could do.
And I just know this is going in the right direction. So let me just go in this right direction. So I'm gonna just do this lesson. And if I don't get any more fluent today, that's fine. Because it's not about this one action. It's about the accumulation of the action.
Continue.
over time.
And that's the same with investing. That's the same with learning. That's the same with working out. That's the same with
Anything you do.
anything, like who you develop as a person,
Relationships.
like relationships. All of these things like take effort over the long haul. And you can't, like, if you're thinking of the basketball game and you're down 20 points, there's no 20-pointer. You know what I mean? It's 2 points or 3 points. It's one bucket at a time.
Yeah.
And it's so that's like when you guys said it, that's like something that's been really resonating with me, as far as like one of my biggest things is just to make sure that I get up every morning. Like for example, this morning I did not feel like getting up, and I make sure to go out and make sure I see the sun rise. And I do it every morning. Today I did not feel like it, but I just I was like, this is the one task. It's not about the accumulation of like, oh, I did this every day for a month, or I did this every day for a year. It's like, I just want to do it today. You know what I mean? So once you think, I just want to do it today, it's like, bro, just get up. You literally like,
fuck it, I'm wasting the day.
And then it's like, so when I do that, I do like one of my language lessons, and it's just like, I tied all these things together.
They call that habit stacking in the book.
There we go.
So it's the cool thing about that too is like there's already, because there's things that we're practicing too, but it's like, so when you see it so clearly defined and represented, and then there's a lot of statistical evidence and all this stuff, and it's just like, oh, here's this idea that I kind of already felt and was working on, just so concisely put and so plainly stated to where you're just like, oh yeah. Yeah, and then it's just like, then it becomes like
even
a fixture
more
in your
clear.
mind.
Exactly.
Like, that's interesting, but
so yeah, that's like that. It's crazy because I just naturally gravitated towards that.
Nice.
Just like trying to, okay, I want to do this. Okay, I feel a little overwhelmed, or I feel that this is going to be hard to maintain. Okay, so what can I take from this that I can do daily to work up to what I wanted to do? And that's just sort of do that. So it's like, okay, I want to start going to the gym. Okay, I can't do that yet. Like, I'm trying to do all these other things. I can't fit that in yet. But what can I fit in? Okay, do some push-ups. You know what I mean? So it's like
anything.
Everything you guys said was like, dang, that's crazy. Like, it's literally like, well, if you could do 2 minutes, then do that. It's like,
just do
like
anything.
literally like, so it's just like, just slowly but surely just implementing things. And for me, it's also important because, well, because doesn't matter, but it's important to like take away things when I realize I'm overburdening myself. And to set that limit to be like, okay, if you keep going this way, then all of the stack might fall down. And you might just lay in the bed and not do nothing you've been doing.
Burn out.
So, okay, let's take this one little thing off and add a smaller thing to try to get to that thing.
So awareness of understanding, like, if you're pushing it too much, just what's comfortable and what's realistic that you can continue to maintain.
And I think that goes to the end goal of what is success for you. Because if you let someone else define what it is, then that speeds up your timeline. That changes your goal, one, and it speeds up your timeline for that goal. And we start reaching for unrealistic things, right? Because that's going down a rabbit hole. but
we run it back next to the next episode.
Next episode. But yeah, I think define your success and then build off of what they said, where it's, you know, one habit at a time, make it manageable, make it easy. If it's not easy enough, make it easier.
Exactly.
As long as you're doing something.
Like, again, another Kendrick, progression is key. Another Kendrick quote: "Don't disrespect the progress of a baby step."
Yeah.
That's fire.
That's
fire.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's fire.
My final thought of the night.
I guess it could kind of blend into his like final what he said towards the end. For me, I'm a workaholic, right? I'm a workaholic. I've been like that for a long time, but you know, just tying into everything that we've talked about, I think like just traveling this past holiday has really taught me the essence of refreshing, taking a break. You know what I mean? Like taking a break.
You've been on that grind. You've been in the lab working this whole time. You're like refreshing. You needed that shit.
Just refreshing. Because then I don't have the the brain fog right now. The I feel a lot more confident. You know what I mean?
It's funny.
If I'm in,
I want to jump in just to quote.
It's interesting
because this is funny because. So me and Savannah met in philosophy class. So that what you're saying goes to this. So I think it's just a funny thing that our teacher, Emily Lee, would talk about hesitation and breaking the habitual nature of things to understand where you're situated. And so it's like when we go through life and we become habitual, like you ever drove home and you just it's like, oh shit, I'm in my fucking driver. We're talking about breaking that. So when you're saying what you're saying is that break, I realize it as like breaking the mundane of life and having that hesitation where traveling or going to Nigeria will give you that like hesitation of American life or the hustle and bustle or always grinding or always looking to progress and just stop and realize how far you came. So it just that just like turned in my head.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. You hit it on the dot. You know what I mean? I think it's just for me, I have to really practice that in every aspect of my life because I see the benefits of it. You know what I mean? I've always worked super hard. You know what I mean? Work super hard, always strain myself. Either if it's like working out, hooping or whatever, like I'll wake up at 6 a.m. I'll do that almost every day. You know what I mean? You can't do that every day. Yeah. I'll have injuries. Yeah. I'll have injuries. My knees have been messed up and everything like that because of doing that. Yeah. And you'd be like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just understanding the moderation of it. Understanding that, or listening to your body. That's what I'm just learning more of, because your body be telling you so many things that you don't even know. You don't even know. You're not listening. You're not listening. So it's like, your body is screaming to you in different aspects of it that, hey, I need a break. I need a break, motherfucker. Chill.
Or I'm
uncomfortable with this situation.
Like even just like how you might tense up around people.
Yeah.
Clench your jaw.
Because maybe that person is not somebody who should be in your space.
Yeah.
It's you're like if you don't listen to it, your body's gonna find another way. Yeah. It's gonna force you to listen some other way. Yeah. Eventually, maybe it's not now, it might be like in the future, which would be sad maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? But this is something that I'm like, wow, I'm trying to learn more of, and like, or listen more of, just listen to your body. Yeah. Take little breaks. Yeah. And come back to it. And it's beautiful when it comes to music because so when I make a song sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, I will listen to it like 500 times.
Yeah. You're not alone.
Yeah. I'll listen to it so many times and then she like, oh shit, I can't stop. Replay. But that's so bad. That is the worst thing you could do because I've learned that when you first listen to it, you might hear something that's not good, but you keep listening to it, then it sounds good. Then you think, oh, this shit is tight.
Literally.
But the sound, so you accept it.
You accept it. It's not good. You over listen to it.
Yeah.
You know
chat robot. That was the plan. We're just gonna keep playing this shit till they like it.
And then you think it's good. And then when you let I let my brother or somebody else listen, they were like, that part is not good. You were like, damn, I thought that shit was fire. I listened to it 2 at a time. So now my body, you know what I mean? But you have to take a break.
Yeah.
You have to take a break. You have to let it breathe. Like even when I used to be like mixing, I listened to it so many times, I'd be like, shit, this shit, you know what I mean? I can't figure it out. Take a break. Yeah. Take a break.
Yeah.
Come back to it.
Yeah, come back to it. It comes and that happens to everything, and just it really solidified me after coming back from Nigeria. Like, wow, you know what I mean? I feel so much better You know what I mean? Just taking that little break, away from work, away from the little mundane stuff that I do. You know what I mean? So, but you still want to come back and still work hard as well. You know what I mean? You want to still keep the same work ethic, but you just have to take
balance,
a break.
Absolutely.
Refresh.
Yeah.
Take
because
a break.
it's better. Because when you come back, you're a lot better artistically, whatever you want to do.
Right. Hella sharp. Straight up, kid. Sev wants to play a final clip, and we're going to wrap out this week's episode of the Dipped in Nonsense podcast. It's been such an incredible time. Shout out, Ralph. Shout out, Kayron.
Podcast.
Shout out
The Dipped Podcast.
Shout out all of
Dipped
our
Podcast.
Oh yeah, the Dipped Podcast.
The Dipped Podcast.
Shout out all of our listeners.
Looking now, Kay,
we're gonna.
For hosting.
There we
this
go.
shit
Thank you so
fire.
much, Kayron, brother Kayron, for letting us do. Amazing. So it's the Joe Budden podcast. I know it's Joe Budden. What?
We gotta yell more.
Where's the gunshot? All right.
So Seb's gonna.
Tory Lanez did that shit.
Oh shit! Don't tell us that.
All right.
Guys, we're leaving you with this clip. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll catch you next time.
Feels like it's coming from insecurity.
Right.
It feels like it's coming from wanting to be better than, versus coming from a place where you're willing to take the risks and try and get on the court of life in a way that's aligned with this thing inside you. And so that's what I process in my own brain when you ask me the question, what's the difference between dreams and delusions?
Yeah.
Now, if you have a true dream, is it ever delusional? And my answer to that is never. And here's why. I believe that dreams are not meant to be achieved. I believe that your dreams are a directional signal. That the dream is out there in a different chapter of your life, calling you from this moment toward that direction. And that the reason why you still have this burning flame inside you that relates all the way back to something that you did when you were younger that you frickin' loved is because when you walk toward acting and what that requires of you to get on the court and walk toward that dream. And look, the dream could be an Oscar. The dream could be something like that's an award. It doesn't matter. It's in the lane of acting. What I believe about dreams is that the dreams are deeply personal. They are connected to that flame inside you. You are hardwired with them when you were born. It is absolutely part of why you're curious about things, why you're interested in things. Naturally, this is part of your natural intelligence. And that when you get on the court and you start walking toward them, that is what's supposed to happen. Because if you allow yourself to take on some roles in acting, it's going to make something come alive inside of you. That's the purpose of your dreams. It's to make that flame burn brighter inside of you. It's about you awakening something, and your dreams are the directional signal that are trying to point you in what way to move forward. Going back to my daughter.
Boom.
You know the fucking vibes.
And with that, we say we'll catch you next time on the Dipped in Nonsense podcast.
Podcast.
Oh yeah, the Dip podcast. We just switched up the brand and we on this new tip. It's a new year, it's a new us. We love y'all. Catch y'all next time.
Oh, your grandma.